Hello there, and welcome to the As Time Film Podcast, where we talk film, TV, games, and all that jazz like there's no tomorrow. This week, we are talking about Suicide Squad 2016
Oh
extended
boy.
cuts before the release of The Suicide Squad. My name is Tom, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host John. John, are you excited to talk about Suicide Squad? Hell yeah, you can hear that
Oh,
excitement on him. And we're also joined by a special guest who will be coming with us for the main segment and weekly viewing segment. Our good friend Joe, who you might remember from our Invincible episode a couple of months ago.
yes, wow. Wow, that was a month. What?
It's
That's
another
crazy. That
crossover.
was
It's
wow.
happening again.
It's like
Just
one of those
it's just like the Suicide Squad, John. It's some kind of Suicide Squad. I'm
yes.
so excited. This is
Yes.
gonna be great.
I'm hoping the Suicide Squad will be infinitely better
Me
than
too. You know,
the one
it's
I just watched.
I have faith in James Gunn. I do. I do. So,
James Gunn, let me tell you, James Gunn's films are great. You
I
know.
agree. I've only seen the
Guys, the
Guardians of the
Galaxy.
Galaxy,
Oof.
but like it's good
Oof.
stuff.
Yes. And I can tell he's very passionate about comic
Mm,
book films and comic book as well. So yeah, can't
yeah,
wait to see the Suicide Squad. But today we are going to talk about one mess of a film.
definitely. Definitely.
Um, but anyway, before we
Before
get into
that,
that,
talk a little bit of news. So recently there was a discussion about the Alien TV show that will be coming on HBO. Noah Hawley, who will be showrunning that show, shed a little light about what it's going to be about. So he said it's not a Ripley story. So we're not kind of dealing with the stuff from the original quadrilogy of Alien films, or maybe trilogy. He definitely mentioned Ridley Scott and James Cameron and David Fincher. So I don't know if it will be acknowledging the fourth film or even set in a similar kind of continuity. And he wants to explore a story about inequality and dealing with aliens not in an enclosed space, more actually on Earth. So, and he talked about what happens when you can't control the alien.
ooh,
So you've seen the first Alien, right?
yeah, that was a great film. But I need to
Mm,
watch Aliens.
yes,
So
definitely. So
yeah,
what do you think about this show and the prospects of it?
I think that's pretty cool. To be honest, I feel like that if we have a TV show of was it right directed by Ridley Scott and doing the whole Alien franchise into a TV show, I think that that will like broaden the universe and we slowly get the idea of it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you
Well, I
know.
think it's very interesting that we're doing this, and it's interesting that you bring up Ridley Scott. We don't know who will be directing it yet, but obviously Ridley Scott still has one more in the trilogy that he wanted to make
Oh, really?
after Alien Covenant. He made Prometheus and he made Alien Covenant, and then he wanted to make one more that would bridge the gap between Alien Covenant and Alien. So, kind of show the final step in the evolution of the xenomorph and kind of give some background as to the crashed ship that they find in Alien. So, obviously, since 2017, I think is when Covenant was released.
Wow.
Yeah,
2017.
I know, right?
Jeez.
4 years ago. So since then, they have, 20th Century Fox was obviously bought by Disney, and Disney shelved a lot of projects, including Die Hard 6 and and it's up in the air whether they will be doing an Alien, third film in this trilogy. So what do you think? Do you think you'd rather have that third film, or do you think this TV show is the way to go?
Well, with Prometheus is a great film, and
Mm,
Covenant as well.
mm,
And they really, you know, uh, giving us the idea of what the universe of Alien is, and we want to see more of it. Like what really happens. What's leading up to the bit of the first Alien film. So, uh, I'm wondering what's going to happen next in the prequels. So I wanted there's like a bridge to that, but yeah, um, but yeah, I want to see one more. I want to see one more.
yeah, I
Hopefully,
agree.
they change it a little bit because they always have the same, ideas through a little bit. You can see it throughout the films. Like they have
Yeah.
a lead female character, which is great, but you want to see different, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it
yeah
always feels like it's a similar kind of like very simple, about a bunch of people, get stranded, whether it be on a planet or on a ship, and they have to kind of deal with the xenomorph or the whatever version of the xenomorph it is with John, my mind's gone
wait
blank.
wait
Yeah,
which one?
with somebody, all of them, I guess, with somebody else on the ship, whether it be Ash, whether it be David, kind of like with their own motivations. But I think an Alien TV show would be really like it. With a TV show, you've got a lot more time to explore the
Yeah,
concepts.
yeah,
And
and
I think it'd be
characters as
really
well.
interesting to
Yeah,
see all that. Yeah, I agree. I think it could be really popular in the same vein as something like The Walking Dead or Watchmen. Some of those like really like, at least at the start, like really beloved shows and interesting shows. But I kind of want to see the third film in the trilogy more because it's,
yeah,
it's kind of been like it's been a promise that we've had for quite a number of years now.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see that as well. Um, yeah, yeah, it's Alien has a great piece of uh elements of horror. Like you're watching it, and it's just so creepy to watch, and the whole atmosphere throughout the film. It's that dark tinted, old technology that really gives off, the horror um vibe to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I
And
love
we
it.
haven't really explored Earth in this continuity just
Yeah,
yet.
yeah,
So I feel
yeah,
like, there are interesting prospects of going to see what Earth looks like at this point, or wherever they are, having it set.
yeah, and yeah, I wish to explore more. Yeah, of Earth. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I feel like
definitely.
if they brought the xenomorph or alien to Earth, um, that I want to see how that happens. Like
Yeah,
how would
definitely.
the how would the army reacted to it, or you know, that would be good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree, and I'm glad that this isn't a Ripley story. Like, I know you haven't seen Alien 2, 3, or 4, but I definitely
yeah.
think that they definitely finished Ripley's story. For better or for worse. I mean, I get in headcanon, you could say that her ending is
Resurrection.
2, 3, or 4. Yeah, like basically in terms of the Alien films, you like none of them are really canon or not. So like I think there's a beauty of that. But I'm glad that they're not having her continue her story because I don't think there's much to continue. I think they
Yes,
really stretched it far and they stretched the elastic band and they might just snap it. They might have already snapped it. Alien 4 was a tough one.
yes. Hopefully they don't go into problems. Don't I don't want the TV show to go into weird stuff. Like
Mm.
resurrection or
Yeah, that Resurrection definitely took it to you know, difficult, strange places in not the best way. But I also think that it will be less controversial when they're not dealing with existing characters. I mean, if you look at, for example, the Star Wars sequels, they're incredibly controversial because they deal with the existing characters of the lore. But something like The Mandalorian isn't quite as controversial because it's mostly dealing with new characters. If you look at an existing sci-fi franchise that came back, Blade Runner, most people consider Blade Runner like 2049 a perfect sequel. It's
yeah,
even better than the original, some would say. And I think that a lot of that is down to the fact that they left it for so long and they definitely had a story to tell. They didn't just jump straight into it. And I hope that this Alien TV show has a story to tell that isn't just there to capitalize in on making the making more money out of the Alien brand.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping, a lot with horror today is a bit weird, to be honest, because they don't focus on the horror element. They focus on, well, and story as well, but they focus on something else entirely that isn't doesn't work for that universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think horrors these days, a lot of them I have found are ruined by one concept. You know, that they take
Yeah.
it one step too far. I was having a conversation yesterday about Hereditary, which is a film that I don't love, and I think that because of that, I don't know if you have you seen Hereditary?
Yeah, I know the story and
Okay.
seen it with my friends, but it was a very messed up film.
Well, I mean,
Um,
like,
I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't that scary, to be honest.
yeah, it wasn't terrifying. I agree. I think that, it was doing stuff really, really well until right at the end. It
Oh,
it it pushed everything a bit too far. It made everything a bit too
yeah.
explicit. And I think that if you're going to make a horror TV show or something like that, that deals with these themes of, containment and inequality, they should, keep it subtle and keep it, powerful, because there is a power in the subtlety rather than the explicit nature, which kind of ruins it, at least for me.
Yeah, and especially with stories that take the wrong approach, especially in Hereditary,
Mm.
that plot twist, that one scene, a little bit of
Yeah, yeah.
spoilers, the car scene, you know what I mean? Yeah,
That
yeah,
was, yeah, that was interesting.
yeah, because that didn't, it kind of broke the whole story for that universe. I didn't know for that reality, because the idea of that was supposed to be focusing on that girl, but I don't know. But
Yeah, I mean, I've only watched it once, and it was back in the cinema in 2017. Oh no, 2018, I think. So it was like three
well,
years ago. So I can't quite remember the finer
yeah,
details, but yeah, I do remember that stuff.
yeah. So hopefully, Alien TV show will pick the story up,
Yeah,
pick it
hopefully,
and
indeed.
have horror elements to it because
Mm,
it's scary. You know,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree. So,
Yeah.
oh, go on.
Nothing, nothing.
Oh, okay. So we've been talking quite a lot recently about some Disney stuff. We did, Luca and Ryan Last Dragon, and we'll be, covering Monsters at Work and stuff like that. Or I guess when this comes out, we would have already covered Monsters at Work. We're recording this like weeks in advance, so there is that. But one thing that is coming out that we will not be able to cover because of the stuff that we've done recently, Suicide Squad next week and Space Jam and stuff, is Jungle Cruise. The Rock and Emily Blunt's new
Yes.
Disney film based off a roller coaster, similar to High School Musical. No, that's not right. Pirates of the Caribbean, High School Musical based off a roller
High School
coaster.
Musical. Oh
You
my
go
god.
across a golf course and you just singing about Bess on it. And yeah, so we actually got a trailer recently. When I say recently,
Yeah.
it's by end of
Yes.
May. So I just thought we'd talk about it a little bit because we're not going to be talking about the actual film. But what are you thinking about this trailer?
It's
About it?
it looks crazy, to
It
be
looks
honest.
mad, doesn't it?
It I feel like this hopefully this looks just different because we recently with a lot of live action films have been terrible. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Lion King.
Yeah,
Anyway, yes. So with this one, this looks just promising. It just looks crazy. Like there's so much stuff into it in one trailer, and I really
yeah.
like it. It looks
It
great.
it definitely feels like Disney have said, okay, we definitely, there's not much left to do with Pirates of the Caribbean, although they may be making a new one with Margot Robbie and Karen Gillan. I don't know what's happening with that. They're thinking, how do we get our next franchise that we can, do uh, the Pirates of the Caribbean, the Indiana Jones, while also promoting a Disney ride. And then they came up with this. And I think it looks like it has a lot of tongue in cheek to it. And it looks
Mm.
like it has some very interesting set pieces. And, in a similar way to Fast and Furious, thinking of something else that has The Rock in it, it looks like gravity defying and just a little bit bonkers. as you said, it
Yeah.
really looks crazy. I mean, there's a moment in this trailer where somebody comes out of a submarine and
Oh
shoots a
yeah.
torpedo at like the heroes, and they kind of like in the boat, they kind of like fly into the air, which I just think is mad. Like
Yeah.
that's
That
crazy,
that
right?
that does feel Disney like, I mean,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, yeah. And especially if you read or watched The Adventures of Tintin, uh there's one
Oh,
scene.
oh
Oh my
man.
god,
I love
that
that
was great.
film.
Yeah. And oh my god, that one was just pure fun to watch.
Yeah.
Adventures of Tintin. Like it definitely feels, uh Uncharted, but on a fun level. You got these characters. You
Yeah,
got Captain
definitely.
Haddock. Oh my god, Captain Haddock is just.
Yes, Andy Serkis.
Oh,
It's
what?
yeah, that was Andy Serkis.
No way.
Yeah.
He did a great Scottish accent, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
will always be
yeah, love it.
like
Yeah.
upset that they never did a sequel because they definitely
Ah,
set it up for a
it,
sequel.
it would have been so good because the Adventures of Tintin was so serious, but yet so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot
I
of
mean,
stuff,
it
that
isn't it directed by
Steven
yes, Steven
Spielberg.
Spielberg, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but it only grossed 374 million dollars at the
Oh,
box
what?
office. So, it doesn't
Hmm.
look like I don't know what the budget was, but doesn't look like it did very
Oh
well.
man, because
Yeah.
it's so good. I wish they made a sequel. Because it would have been like being a lot serious the next one, but being crazier. Like what I mean, like Uncharted 2 crazy. Yeah,
Oh wait, no, they are making a second one.
what?
I think they are making a second one.
What, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Um. Wait, where's the film? Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
on.
Jungle Cruise. We were
Yeah,
just
sorry.
off
Yeah.
the Jungle Cruise. Sorry, we just had a Adventures of
Oh,
Tintin.
the next one's going to be directed by Peter Jackson,
Okay.
who worked on the first one.
Oh
I don't know in what capacity. But anyway, yeah, Jungle Cruise.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
Uh,
my sorry. Sorry. You never guess who wrote Tintin?
who?
Edgar Wright and Stephen Moffat.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. That is I want to rewatch that. I'm so sure I've got the DVD. I'm gonna rewatch that film
Right,
now.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm
That
gonna
what a
rewatch it
oh
today.
my god. Oh right, we gotta watch that together at some point.
Yeah, we gotta watch it. We gotta watch it, man. It's oh
Mm.
my god. Oh
Oh
my god.
my
Wait,
god.
Edgar Wright,
Jeez.
Steven Spielberg, and no wonder why the film's so good.
Like four gods. Just brilliant.
Four gods, but it's like the opposite of the apocalypse gods. Oh, the Force
Oh.
Horsemen.
Yeah. X-Men Apocalypse. Oh boy.
Anyway, Jungle Cruise. uh, sorry, Jungle Cruise just gave us,
It looks
nostalgia.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I think you're right. It definitely has a similar. It looks okay. So Jungle Cruise is a theme park ride, and it
Yes.
looks like a theme park. It looks like a non-stop, crazy, wild ride.
Yes, yeah. And I feel like that's what the film is supposed to be like a
Mm,
wild, wide ride. And, I mean, at the end, there was a cheetah.
there was. I mean, I think it's worth saying. I think some of the I don't know if it's because it's not finished yet, but some of the production to me looked a bit off. I don't think the CGI looks great yet.
Yeah.
But I think, if it's going for that swashbuckling, adventure nature, it looks like it's got there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so, yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, me too. Hey, maybe we will talk about it on the pod. It doesn't look like we will at this point, but maybe sometime down the road we'll pick it back up again and we'll
yeah.
we'll talk all about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about um the Adventures of Tintin. I still have the graphic novels for Adventures of Tintin.
What, the French ones?
No, not
Oh,
the French ones.
like
Wait, the
just
French ones.
yeah, Tintin's French.
He's French.
Yeah, Tintin's a French character, right?
What?
Yeah, Tintin was made in France.
Wait, really?
Is Tintin French? Tintin is the titular protagonist of The Adventures of Tintin by Belgian cartoonist Hergé. The character was created in 1929. Yeah, Belgian.
Oh,
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah.
Huh.
So
But
yeah,
I still have the graphic novels. They're great. They're great to read.
brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's so many of them. It's bigger than my DC collection.
Whoa, that's a big
Yeah,
collection.
yeah. There's a big collection. Yeah, I still have it on the bottom level of
I love
my.
how I love how they were like, okay, let's talk about John Cruise, and then we just spent 10 minutes just talking about Tintin.
I think Joe's like, what the heck are they doing
Yeah,
about this?
Joe's waiting for us. Like, I want to talk about Suicide Squad, and we just come like got Tintin, right?
Yeah, Tintin. Oh my god. Yeah.
Well, speaking of, let's move to the main segment, shall we?
Yeah. Jungle Cruise looks great. Well, we were looking forward to it.
Definitely. Well, here we are, the three of us back again.
Yes.
In so long since last time. Here to talk about the adventures of Tintin. Are you
Yes.
excited,
Let's
John?
go, Tom. Let's talk
do
about. Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Joe, you in here for our new segment.
You
We were
ready to
supposed
talk
be
about
talking.
Tintin, Joe?
We were supposed to be
I've
talking
not
about
watched
Jungle
it,
Cruise.
but I'd rather
And
talk about that than.
honestly, we just spent like 10 minutes just talking about Tintin.
It looks
Brilliant.
cool. I like Tintin.
Yeah.
I
Is that
still
the one
got
with
the
the Big
graphic
Ben?
novels, Joe.
It's the
Yeah.
Lads, we're not here. We're not here to talk about Tintin. You both know what we're here for. We are here for Warner Brothers, and I refuse to call it David Ayers. Warner Brothers Suicide Squad 2016 extended cut. We got about, how long is it? Like 11 minutes extra footage.
Why is it extended cut? Why do I have to watch more of the?
to quote Mr. Krabs, I like money.
Yeah, right. I mean, that is literally why we have this film and not, David Ayer's Suicide Squad, the Ayer cut, because the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer did so well. They got the company that edited that trailer. You guys remember the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
They got the company that did that trailer to edit
it
the
looked
film.
very promising.
Yeah, the trailers. That first trailer, I just want to say, amazing. I love it so much.
Yeah, the trailers were great. That's the most surprising part. The trailers were absolutely phenomenal, and then we got.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Then we got that movie.
Well, I mean, the trailers for the new one are good too, but it's James Gunn, so I have a little bit more.
It's James Gunn.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm not gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think let's start off by talking about the extended stuff, about like 10 or so minutes extra. John, I know you haven't seen the theatrical cut, but Joe, you have, right?
Yeah.
I've seen both cuts.
Good.
And I'm not going to lie to you.
Good.
The only part that I know for sure is part of the extended cut is the part where Harley Quinn is on a motorbike.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That is.
It's basically that, and then there are a couple of scenes when they're walking through the city and they talk. And I will say, genuinely, I think those scenes do improve it. Your stunned silence is very reassuring.
Let me tell you, I watched the film last night and I was not in a good mood to watch it. No, I was in a good mood to watch it before, but then during it, I was like, why am I still here? why am I watching this film?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not I should clarify. When I say that these extended scenes improve it, it doesn't mean it's good. I just think that what's sorely lacking from the whole film is any kind of like real, like genuine character, like development or interaction between the squad. And I think those deleted scenes do add to that. I think the best scene of the film far and away is the scene in the bar, which I think is a really good scene because it shows them all kind of like interacting and having like heart to hearts. And you get a little bit more of that in those scenes,
Yeah.
That bar scene. So go on, John.
I actually like the bar scene. It's what you said. It connects with all the characters, and how we feel about them. But I think that was like a stop, a pause moment for the film, to explore more character developments. But there was nothing in the film that was exploring.
That bar scene is genuinely one of the 5 things I've got noted down that I think are good.
All right,
the
okay.
movie.
Well, tell us your other 4. I'm interested.
The other 4, the soundtrack, the scene where Diablo goes all crazy because of Will Smith shouting at him.
Yeah.
I think that the motorbike scene and the other extra scenes with Harley Quinn and Joker add to them, like just their relationship and stuff. And I put there is a very little amount, but there is some good acting. And
well, I think that final one, I want to say, I think all the actors do a really good job. Well, okay, okay. There are like 4 actors that do, maybe 5 actors that do a really good job and definitely stand out. And I'm happy that most of those actors were brought back for the Suicide Squad. I think Jai Courtney is so much fun as Captain Boomerang. Harley Quinn, obviously Margot Robbie is exceptional as Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. Will Smith's Deadshot, I'm, upset we'll probably never see him again unless we get the haircut, but I really like him. Viola Davis is great as Amanda Waller. And I genuinely think that there's like potential in a lot of the other characters. Obviously, the potential is unfulfilled, but I think there are moments of everyone. Like there's a moment where Katana is speaking to her sword, speaking to her husband, and I'm like, you know what? She could be a really cool character, a really interesting character. They didn't do anything with her. And Joe, have you seen The Boys? John, I know you have.
Yes.
Well, that actress is in The Boys. She plays, I can't remember her name. But the girl that's the female. She plays her. The female. And she genuinely can act. I think all these actors can act, which is the most frustrating. Well, when I say all, I mean all of them, apart from Cara Delevingne. I have never seen her be able to act, I must say.
Yeah.
I hate the bad guy in this movie.
Dude.
I know that she's called Enchantress, but I refuse to refer to her as Enchantress because I don't know her brother's name and I just can't be bothered to.
You don't know Incubus's name?
I don't care for it. It's a lifeless villain. That's all. It's stupid. It's bad.
Honestly, the only reason I know the villain's name is because I have watched this film honestly many times because it's so perplexing, and even now I still don't understand how like Justice League, they got a new director, they they did so many things to change it. This one, I don't know what they did. I wish I could tell you what they did. It just seems like the editing I think is the worst part of this film, which is saying a lot.
Oh god, yeah, the editing. Can I talk about the dialogue? I hate the dialogue in this film. It's just actually bad. Right, let me tell you, it does not. Right.
Anyone got any dialogue highlights for us?
Right.
There is. I think we all have the same highlight. If you don't, then you're both wrong.
What are we?
Wait.
Suicide Squad. And that's from the Ayer cut as well. If they release the Ayer cut, that line will be in there. It's in the original trailer.
I want that line to just be the Ayer cut. Just that line.
Yes, of course.
What line? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
What are we?
Some sort of Suicide Squad.
Well,
sort of Suicide Squad.
Oh no! What was? Killer Croc. He said, "Shorty."
Not me, Shorty.
Not me,
I'm
Shorty.
Beautiful.
I'm beautiful.
I have to say, as somebody who I love Killer Croc. I mean, if you look at the Arkham games, Killer Croc is so cool. He could be so interesting. But I'm going to go as far to say I think Killer Croc is worse than Enchantress here, and that is saying a lot. But I think that he is. I mean, not only is he nothing like a comic book counterpart, which can work in films. If a character isn't exactly like they are in the comics, that can work. But he just has no kind of resemblance on a character. He's a bit of a racial stereotype, and he does nothing, plot wise, barely. He's not got I mean, this film won best makeup, and I hate his makeup. He's not even green. It's like it. He is just such an embarrassing character, and the fact that he's even called Killer Croc makes me so upset.
The fact that the movie won any awards at all makes me upset.
I mean, not if it was also, a Razzie.
Can I just talk about one scene that I can stop laughing? Right. Right. So when Flag says, "Behold the voice of God, and then
and then just Amanda Waller on a
It's
screen.
so terrible.
Yeah.
no, it's just a noise like.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think that Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad would be great. He looks like he's got some really good stuff in the trailer, but in this film, his dialogue is so expositional. Like in the final fight, he just spends the whole time saying, "Get the heart. We've got the heart." The heart is like he spends the whole time just explaining. I mean, don't even get me started on Katana's entrance, right? Like she gets one. I mean, what's worse, Katana's entrance are Slipknots. You know, they just spend like the minimum amount of time introducing all the characters.
And also in the helicopter scene when he was talking to Deadshot, I am a good soldier, and yes, and I don't lie.
Yeah, there's this weird like thing between Deadshot and Rick Flag where they don't respect each other, and then somehow they find respect because Rick Flag brought Deadshot's daughter's letters with him into a war zone. What?
Yeah, that's a bit weird. Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
What was he thinking? Might be a moment where they all just split up, and instead of detonating the bombs we have in their necks, I just give them these letters, and they're all happy again.
Yeah.
Wait. Here's the real question: how did Flag get the letters? And
why would anyone give them to him?
Why did they keep them? That's the real question. Why did the prison keep them and not just throw them away?
Why did they keep them?
It's so strange, and you bring up a good point, Joe, about like why didn't they just detonate? You know, when he smashes the controller for the bombs, any of the villains could have done that. Why isn't there like some sort of failsafe that if you smash the controller, all of them go down?
All of them
But that would make so much sense, and I think that would have been the funniest thing if they were all like, "Oh, like you're free to go," and then they all just die.
Yeah. And also, what was it? Oh, the most annoying thing was that that the film just doesn't make sense at all. Like that's how I feel with you, Tom. You know, when the police, no, I don't know, the jail safe, the jail, I forgot his name.
The guard,
the guard, he gives Harley the phone, and no one was like, he's not sus. No.
His character just disappears. She's just like, you're so screwed, and he's like, what do you mean by that? Harley, what do you mean by that? And then like he just disappears. I don't think I mean, somebody correct me here. Do we see him again?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Joe, I heard the pain in your voice then. No, we don't.
No, we don't see him again.
We do not see Briggs ever again.
Is that his name?
By the way. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Wait, that was his name?
Oh. Yeah. He's one of the only characters I remember his name.
Can I just talk about the soundtrack a little bit?
Yes, please. Yes, please do. Please do, John.
Oh my God. It's the most weirdest song choices that I've ever heard. And it doesn't feel right at all.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
What? Like, what was that song that was introducing Killer Croc? Judgment Days, like that was using a Vienna. I don't know. It was like doom down, doom down, doom down. Everyone. Yeah, that song. You know what I mean?
I want to point out Killer Croc eats David Ayer in that scene.
Good.
Does he?
David Ayer is the one who's like, is it true that he bit someone's arm off? Kind of, I guess, referencing Aaron Cash. And then like he gets eaten, and Briggs is like, was that the new guy? And that's him. So. That's what we get in the extended cut, folks.
Oh boy, that's Dave Ayer. That's picturing him of his movie. Just
he was. Does anyone remember at the premiere of Suicide Squad where David Ayer in his confidence just yelled "fuck Marvel," and it's like, no, I mean,
wait, they said that?
Yeah, and it's like Marvel isn't perfect, but this film is not. Like this film's worse than any
thinking about that this morning.
Why did you say it?
I was making breakfast this morning, and I thought to myself, at the premiere of this movie, he said "fuck Marvel." What? How does he have the balls to do that? How does he
No.
have the absolute balls to do?
Honestly,
that's just
That's a
like
Chad move. That's a Chad move right there.
that's a Chad move. But how could you say that? Like a very successful Marvel, business that is making really good films. Like in 2016, you got Civil War, you got all the other films that just came out. Well, Doctor Strange,
Doctor
but
Strange,
anyway,
yeah.
But he said that, and to a lot of people in the premiere, and saying that wow, your movie is bad. Oh my god.
Yeah, he knew
Yeah.
what he was going to put on that screen moments after saying that as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Suicide Squad was insanely popular. It grossed 800 million at the box office. Like some critics really, I mean, Empire,
How?
me and John, we love Empire. They give it 4 stars. Ridiculous. But it was super popular, hence why, we have Birds of Prey and the Suicide Squad, whether or not they do well, it's because of the popularity of Suicide Squad. So it did something, right? I think it might have been the trailers, but
I'm very ashamed to say that I did attribute towards the box office success of
God.
Suicide Squad.
You weren't even old enough.
Don't tell the government that.
Okay.
I would like to point out.
It's okay because this podcast isn't going on YouTube or anything. It's fine. No one will ever know.
I know it. No. I would like to point out that when I did go and see this movie in the cinema, I left at about 3 minutes and 50 seconds in.
Yeah. When isn't it in Harley Quinn's introduction?
Yeah, it's in Harley Quinn's introduction because I was watching it and I thought to myself, I'm not watching this piece of shit any longer. Said to my granddad, Granddad, we're leaving, and we left.
Wow.
Just 3 minutes in, Granddad, we need to go.
Did you at least go and see like Deadpool or something, like a good film?
No, we went to Legoland and had fun.
Hey,
Good.
that's good. That's good.
I would have rather gone to Legoland and see this.
Yeah, I'd rather go to Legoland to see that garbage.
I want to backtrack a little bit. John, you were saying about the soundtrack, and Joe, I know that you like the soundtrack, and I want to say I think it's worth saying. I think all the songs are good. They're good songs. However,
they're good songs.
They are used in such a strange way. They play in such a rapid succession, which is like, they have no impact on anything. It's not like Spider-Verse or Guardians of the Galaxy where the music means something to the characters. They just choose like generic songs which play for maybe a minute and then leave, and then the next 5 minutes something else comes on. I'm 90% sure that this was a change made by the edit. They were like, oh yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody worked really well. Let's just throw in a load of like licensed music.
I looked up the other day. Oh, go on.
Oh, me.
Go on,
oh, I thought it was. Sorry. But it feels like that the film is trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy, if you know what I mean.
100%.
Adding a lot of the songs, but I mean, Spirit in the Sky, that scene in the helicopter,
right.
They used Spirit in the Sky. What was the impact? Like, was it them to be the spirit? Are they gonna die, or they just
Yeah, John, don't look into that much. You'll find nothing.
Hidden meanings.
If they wanted it to be Guardians of the Galaxy so bad that they hired James Gunn for the second film because they were like, oh, well, he knows what he's doing. Like, obviously, like, oh, we'll take advantage of the fact that he's been fired by Marvel and we'll snatch him up. And God, I hope he delivers, man. Because
oh my God, I hope he does.
Yeah, Joe, you were gonna say.
Yeah, it also follows on from the Spirit in the Sky point. I looked up the order of the songs in like appearance, and at one point in the soundtrack, it goes Seven Nation Army, The White Stripes, Without Me by Eminem, and then Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum. And like, if anyone looks at that out of context, that would look completely ridiculous.
Yeah,
if you put it in a movie,
hip hop,
put it in a movie like they did, it's still completely ridiculous. I don't understand it.
Let me tell you, like there's one song playing by Eminem, there's one song with Spirit in the Sky, and then there's one song by Bohemian Rhapsody, and what the heck? It's a mess.
Yeah,
it's a mess.
Bohemian Rhapsody is the weirdest one. I don't know if you guys know this, but obviously they used the Queen version in the trailer. They used the Queen version in the film, and then on the soundtrack, it's the Panic at the Disco version.
It's the Panic at the Disco one, and kills me.
It kills. I
There
100%
be-
agree.
there
They
be,
don't
yeah.
even come close to it.
Right.
I don't know why anyone would remake that song.
I'm just looking at this. There we go. The album. Let's see.
I have the album on. I have the album on CD. That's right, folks.
Oh, Logic's in this. What?
Yeah, on Sucker for Pain. The weirdest part about the soundtrack, in my opinion, is the original songs, Heathen and Sucker for Pain, absolutely slap.
They do. They're brilliant
I
songs.
listen
agree.
to them all the time, and I've watched the movie like twice in completion.
I unfortunately have to say that I have to avoid most of the songs in this soundtrack because they just make me think of Suicide Squad. Which is annoying because there's so many good songs, but I'll think about like just the worst, most inappropriate scenes, for that music. I mean, can we please talk about? I mean, I don't want to, but let's talk about Joker, please. In some of his, in his introductory scene with him and Harley at the club, they use I mean, my point isn't necessarily about the music, but they present Joker in this film in the weirdest way.
I agree. I agree. Like in the club, this should have played 50 in the club. Sorry. 50 Cent in the club. Sorry.
But I don't understand what they were. I mean, I guess they were going for like a mob boss kind of Joker, which they can do that. They did that in Batman '89 to an extent, and it worked there. But he's so all over the place, and I'm very thankful to say that in the Snyder Cut, he is toned down a lot. I still wouldn't call him great, but he's toned down a lot from this. In this, he's just like I don't understand what his motivation is in any of it.
I think after like a long time of thinking about this, the main problem with Jared Leto's Joker is that he puts too much of his personality in, which wouldn't be a bad thing normally.
Yeah.
But given that Jared Leto doesn't have a good personality, that's where it goes wrong. That's where he ruins.
Well,
the character.
I think I agree, but I also think there are some hilarious things from Offset. So on set, he did some. He was quite a bit of a dick on set, so that is worth saying. But he sent what Margot Robbie thought. He sent her a dead rat.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a dead rat. It was a cake. He got a special cake made by a cake shop that makes cakes that look like dead rats.
Oh.
It's closed now, but it existed back in 2015 when they shot this. He went out of his way to make. Yeah, I know who would want that, but he went out of his way to make a cake that looked like a dead rat to send it to someone who then thought it was a dead rat, who then told every tabloid, who then reported on it, and nobody knew it was a cake. That's like what? He went totally method for this, and I have no idea. He's
a very weird guy.
I agree.
Personal.
Can't wait for Morbius, guys.
By the way, Jared Leto, before he got into acting, he was in a rock band or a metal band, I think.
Really?
30 Seconds to Mars.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
mad. Let me tell you, it was so weird seeing this Joker. It wasn't... I feel like it was just, like a fever dream version of Joker. And the tattoos...
The annoying thing about tattoos is that I genuinely like the Joker's design apart from the tattoos. If you got rid of the tattoos, I think it's got a really, really good design. With the scar in his eye, the grills. I mean, I didn't like the grills, but the fact that it's grills because Batman smashed his teeth in, I love that. The hair, it's very kind of Dark Knight Returns, and I think that's awesome. But the tattoos are just so obnoxious.
But John, how are we supposed to know that this Joker is damaged if David Ayer doesn't put it on his forehead?
That's such a good point.
I don't know.
Come on, think about it.
I mean, to be fair, we never knew that any of the other Jokers were damaged.
We couldn't know.
Whoa.
I mean, if someone put a picture of Joker on screen right now to see that he's damaged, how do we know?
I'm changing my score. 10 out of 10. This film's a masterpiece.
Oh my god.
That's why the makeup department got awards. That's what it is.
Wait, the film got awards?
Yeah, it won an Oscar for best makeup.
Won an Oscar?
You're kidding me? Nah,
it won an Oscar.
You're kidding me? Suicide Squad film.
You don't. We're telling you this is true, John. It won over Star Trek Beyond.
Oh my god, 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. It should be 0%.
Yeah, it's I don't know if this is still the case, but it's 1% less than Batman v Superman, which kills me inside. Like,
It's 1%.
even if you
No
don't
comment.
like, okay, Joe, keep your mouth shut here.
It's okay, Joe.
Even if you
It's
don't
okay,
like
Joe.
Batman v Superman, I think it's fair to say that, especially when talking about the ultimate editions of both films, this film is so much worse. I just can't. I really cannot. I can't do. I can't deal with that.
I rank this film lower than Zack Snyder's Justice League. And
saying a lot for you.
That says a lot.
That says a
hell of
lot.
Well,
That says a lot.
I will say that in terms of the DCEU, so however many films that is at this point, 10 or something, this film for me isn't as bad as Justice League. I think, especially because of all the onset stuff that happened with Joss Whedon and Ray Fisher and all the stuff that happened to Zack Snyder, I think Justice League is just like so far below. It has no redeeming qualities. Whereas I think Suicide Squad, as we say, it's got some good performances, like maybe one or two good scenes. I think there's like a smidge of good stuff in there.
Yeah. And
my final go on, John. Sorry, go
on. What? Let's see what I want to talk about. There were so many actors that were wasted potential, I think.
I know.
There's one actor who was in Stranger Things, the guy who played
David Harbour.
Yes.
Oh my god, yeah, he's in it for like 2 scenes.
Yeah.
And
ridiculous.
And the dialogue, I want to talk about the dialogue again. I just felt like that it wasn't that good at all. And
Very
like
bland.
the scenes with the dialogue, like especially when they had to repeat everything, like, what if Superman goes down and kills the president? And then
honestly,
next scene,
that is such an interesting concept. The idea that they could use, I mean, The Flash has got 1 scene in this film. Batman has like 3 scenes in this film. They could have used them so interestingly. I mean, did you guys watch them? I mean, I don't know if I expected this from you, but did you guys watch the mid-credit scene?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, the mid-credit scene is Amanda Waller giving Bruce Wayne the files on metahumans, so Barry Allen and Arthur Curry, and at the end she says, "You look tired. You should stop working nights." And he's like, "You should shut it down on me and my friends will work for you." And I think that's such a good scene. I think the idea that Bruce Wayne is like
I agree
on the tail of Amanda Waller just is so cool. And yes, I do love Batfleck, which kind of taints me, but I think that prospect is such an interesting one. And the idea that they had this, I mean, this new Suicide Squad, you know, I doubt we're going to see anyone else from the wider DCEU. And not that I want to see that, but this film had just come out after Batman v Superman. You know, it could have really dealt with the aftermath of Superman's death, you know, which is what people love about Marvel, is that each film, you know, kind of like, you know, is reacting to something that's happened in another film, you know, most of the time. And I think that they could have done that and they didn't. And maybe the Ayer cut does, but they just did. I mean, in fact, the Ayer cut does do that, because originally in the Ayer cut, the Enchantress was supposed to be hypnotized by the mother boxes and influences by Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf was going to be in this, and they just ruined it. And I don't know why, guys. Yeah, Steppenwolf was going to be like the villain alongside Enchantress. It would have been like loads of setup for Justice League. Yeah. Do you guys not know this?
No, I don't. I don't care enough about them either, if I'm going to be honest, to research what it could have been.
But yeah, so like originally, like, so this is like for Wonder Woman as well. In Wonder Woman, there was going to be like a post-credit scene about like them having found one of the human mother box. Obviously, the other 2 are gone, and then this film would have dealt with it being in Star Labs, and it's Steppenwolf like trying to get it through Enchantress before he can get onto Earth for whatever reason, and then she's kind of like hypnotized by it, and obviously they stop it at the end of the day, and it gets back to Star Labs, but it would have triggered the events that would have influenced Justice League, which I mean, I think people would have received.
That would have been so much better.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's fair to say that we need the Ayer cut. Like, we did an episode on restoring the Snyderverse, and I must say, a lot of it I'm not hugely bothered about, but I really would love to see the Ayer cut of this film. You know?
Yeah.
Apparently,
I tweeted at David the other day.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's apparently it's more finished than the Snyder Cut was. You know, it wouldn't take that much to finish it, according to David Ayer. I think they should go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much stuff I want to talk about the film.
Yeah. Well, Joe, you were going to say you had one more thing that you wanted to say.
Yeah. It's just one last thing about the soundtrack.
Okay.
As the credits start to roll,
yes,
the song "Sucker for Pain" starts playing.
Yes.
Which starts off with the line, "I torture you." And I just think that's the biggest middle finger David Ayer could have given to anyone after watching that movie. He knows exactly what he did to everyone who watched it and likes to rub it in. That's all it is.
I think it was the trailer editing company who were like, "Oh, we fucked this. Okay, let's just put this at the end because we know." And then I just want to imagine that David Ayer had nothing to do with the cut, and then he was sitting in a boardroom, and they were like, "Here you go, David. Here's the finished product," and he was showing it to all the other things, thinking it was going to be great, and then at the end, he was just like, "Oh shit."
This film is just a mess. It was just nothing.
I mean, the way that they introduce all the different characters is so messy. Half of them get their own like little flashbacks, and half of them don't. I mean, Slipknot. Here comes Slipknot, guy who can climb.
Oh,
anything.
Slipknot! Yes, I want to talk about this. He was the most pointless character in this whole film. He had nothing. He was like, "Oh yes, I can climb walls. Yes, I'm like Spider-Man." And he just gets exploded, and he's not being smart at all. He's like, "Yes, I'm climbing man."
The only reason we know Slipknot to be a bad guy is because he's put on the Suicide Squad and he punches a woman. That is it's the only backstory to his criminal past we ever get in the movie about him. That he likes to hit women.
Sorry.
And he gets put on the Suicide Squad.
They put him on the squad just so they can show that the bombs work. And one thing that I really like the idea of in the Suicide Squad is the idea that James Gunn has put in so many members, and he's just going, right, you're all characters and you can all die, even like Harley Quinn and Bloodsport and stuff, you know?
Oh yeah.
I think some of that go on. Sorry, what?
I fully expect Harley to die.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that the marketing has made the film a little bit obvious as to who is going to be more prominent, but I do think that anyone could die, and I don't know. I would expect it to die, but I also know that Margot Robbie wants to do a lot more with the character. So I think maybe if James Gunn he has said that he got his complete, vision, and he got to do whatever he wanted. So maybe she will die.
That'd be good.
I agree. Be great. I mean, it depends how it works in conjunction to her arc, I would say. Because I like to talk about El Diablo for a moment. Diablo?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Diablo.
El Diablo, yeah.
Yeah. So according to David Ayer, he wanted to have the whole story that he killed his wife and children, and that he had to live with that. But the studio said that they couldn't have that, so he had to compromise. And in order to keep that thing, they had to kill him off. David Ayer wouldn't have killed off Diablo, which is why you have the stupid bit where he turns into Fire Monster. And I think that he has some really good stuff. His whole introduction, not his introduction, the scene where him and Waller meet, and he's inside the tanker thing, and he says like, I'm gonna die in peace before I raise my fists again. And he has this whole kind of arc, which isn't the best, when considering that all it takes is some taunting from Deadshot to kind of like get him to unleash himself. But like the idea that he doesn't want to, do it, and then he does because he's found his new family, even though they barely know each other. I feel like there was so much potential with his character.
And then the part where he's the one who can break through for Enchantress's spell, because he knows he has to live with what he done, when everyone else knows that that's not what actually happened with what they're seeing, and anyone could have been like, "What? This is just bollocks. What's going on here? This is not life." And they all could have broke out easy.
I like the idea that he has to live with what he's done, but you're right. It is so like obvious to everyone that what they're living isn't real. And I think it's quite annoying that like you could have had like Katana seeing her and her husband reunited or something, or like I don't know what Captain Boomerang would want, him and a pink unicorn, but like you could have like some stuff you know, like that would really reinforce their characters in that moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The story in this one is just messy. Yeah.
I mean, can anyone actually tell me what Enchantress's motivation is?
No.
I
I don't think that David Ayer can tell you what Enchantress's motivation is.
Well, I think he probably could for the Ayer cut. I don't think he could. I don't think anyone can for this film, even its diehard apologists.
Yeah. What was the motivation? I don't want to know.
That's the question, isn't it?
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
It's interesting because she starts off with some interesting stuff. The idea that Enchantress is controlling June, and June has like a really big struggle with it. But that's barely, explored. As soon as Incubus comes into the fray, she just becomes this weird belly dancing person who's wearing a bikini with a sky beam, and she kisses people to make them her. Like, it's like they were like, okay, let's hire Cara Delevingne, who is a model, and let's just kind of use her for her looks and not for her acting, not for a character or anything. I mean, obviously we don't know what would have happened in the Ayer cut, but it feels so disingenuous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how David Ayer famously said, "Fuck Marvel," but the villain in his film takes over people using mind control, has a massive sky beam that goes for a circle in the sky, and there's an army of mindless foot soldiers.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like Loki in Avengers at all, does it? Really?
No,
it's
not at all.
not Marvel-esque at all.
No.
Completely,
It's annoying as well because, Marvel, at least at that point, Marvel already had a villain problem, and a lot of the villains were, in generally considered, forgettable apart from Loki. I think that they not only added to that, just for superhero films in general, I think they made one of the, I would struggle to think of a worse antagonist, because at least, Steppenwolf in Justice League, at least to me at least, he's so funny. Like Ares in Wonder Woman, I have so much fun just like accepting him and laughing, but I can't even laugh at Enchantress. She's just got nothing to laugh at.
I only laughed at. Sorry. I wanted to. I laughed at Boomerang, and that's it.
Yeah, I think Boomerang's good. I think there's a lot to like about him. I think he's got. I mean, I don't understand why he just leaves and then comes back. In the bar scene.
Oh yeah. He randomly just appears everywhere.
Yeah.
I laughed at Boomerang, and I laughed at that one line that Killer Croc says. Not me, Shorty. I'm beautiful. Or some shit like that.
I couldn't. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch this with subtitles on, but I couldn't hear half of the lines that Killer Croc said.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he said anything other than that. I don't remember him saying anything.
He said when he's like, "I'm coming too," and they're like, "What?" And he's like, "I live underground."
Oh yeah,
just tourists.
You're just tourists.
It's ridiculous.
You don't fear
me.
He
don't even do anything though.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't do anything.
He just swims. He detonates a bomb and then swims away. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't even detonate a bomb.
Bloody little nobody does it. Jeevers. Also, why did they even cast Scott Eastwood in that film? Just for him to stand around and say to Rick Flag, like...
Is that where I know him from? Does he play...
Yeah, he plays little nobody in Fast 8.
I was looking at his face throughout the movie. And I was like,
I remember when the trailers are coming out, and I'd watch like trailer breakdowns and stuff, and people were like, "Oh, I think that's going to be Agent Grayson, like Nightwing." Like in the comics, he was like an agent of the CIA or something for a while, and then he just ended up doing nothing, being absolutely nobody,
like most of the characters.
Yeah, I mean, true. And one thing that I don't understand about the plot. They don't go in to stop Enchantress. They go in to get Amanda Waller. But literally, Waller just gets in a helicopter. Why couldn't why what? Does anyone?
Why is she there in the first place?
Exactly.
She goes there. She goes there after Enchantress.
Does she? Or is she already? Yeah.
I can't remember anything.
Because Joker got in with it with a helicopter.
Yeah.
You know, I want to talk for a second about. I think, according to David Ayer, again, the Ayer cut was going to deal with the abusive relationship between Joker and Harley, which of course is a staple of their relationship in the comics and even in the animated TV show, which might I add is for kids. They even did an abusive relationship in that TV show, which is where she was introduced, and the whole kind of thing was going to be Harley kind of finds like love in Deadshot, and kind of like rejects Joker, which is obviously something that they then go to explore in Birds of Prey very well, might I add. But in this film, Joker and Harley, they're almost in love. There isn't anything that would kind of show you, apart from when Joker leaves her in the car when they crash it, there's nothing that would tell you that they hate that he has this kind of resentment towards her, and that he needs her while also being completely disregarding of her. He spends the whole time trying to get to her and then just loses her, and then he shows up at the end. The way that they cut it, and I'm sure there was more to it, but the way they cut it so much, it's just like it's like his side plot could be deleted from the film and you would get nothing changed. In fact, I think the film might even be better if you got rid of Joker.
Everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, it's not even like they break out and they have something. The next time we see Harley Quinn, she's just like, "Oh yeah, I left him."
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, oh, okay.
And you know what?
So a whole movie was built up about him trying to break her out of prison, and then they just never be together. Honestly,
I'm happy with that because I think for them to be together in Birds of Prey, it would mean bringing back Leto. And I think, if you can't just bring him back for one scene, if you're going to shoot a whole film. I mean, the Snyder Cut was different because they were only shooting that one scene. But if they're shooting a whole film, they're not going to bring him back just because they mentioned him quite a lot. They would have probably written him in. And I'm really happy they didn't, because that whole film, again, about emancipation really works. Yeah. And I'm glad that they made the best out of Suicide Squad. Like with Birds of Prey and with the Suicide Squad, they've taken, the Suicide Squad 2016 and they haven't made it good in retrospect, but they've they've taken its concepts and been, okay, this can get better.
They've kind of martyred it, turned it into a bit of a martyr.
Yeah,
they've let it die and then took stuff from it that has been okay, and then built upon that, such as Harley Quinn, and now they're doing the other Suicide Squad movie.
And it's weird. I know, John, you have, but Joe, did you watch the latest trailer?
Not properly, no.
Okay, well, just one point that I found very interesting about it was that Bloodsport has a daughter, and they kind of touch upon in this trailer how his daughter kind of uses leverage to have him join the team. That is just Deadshot.
Yeah,
they couldn't bring I bet the character would be different in many ways, but to me it looks like at this point it's just Deadshot, and that they couldn't bring back Will Smith, and so they just got another character who's really good with guns.
Will Smith refused to come back. He was asked to come back. He refused. So I've got it written down. Not surprised that Will Smith didn't want to come back. I am convinced that Deadshot was written into the movie by James Gunn. Will Smith said no, so he chose a different character who can shoot guns and is also black, and then just was like, "Go get Idris Elba on."
Yeah. I'm happy because I love Idris Elba, and I bet it'll be great.
Yeah, same.
But it does seem very blatant in that sense. I mean, literally, today, as we're recording this, James Gunn spoke about some of the characters he wanted to put in, and there were so many characters who I was like, God, I hope that they make a sequel, because he had Deathstroke on that list of characters he wanted to be in.
Yeah.
John, I know that you'll be so annoyed that they didn't put him in. They had Clayface and Livewire, loads of Batman villains, and it's I really would love to see some of these wacky, D-list, C-list villains. And that's what this film, Suicide Squad 2016, it should have been about. All the worst kind of villains who nobody disregards, and you get maybe one of them in Slipknot, but all the others, they're quite well-known villains, whether it be from Like, especially like a lot of those Batman ones are in the Arkham games. Katana was in Arrow and stuff, and they've become so much more popular.
I would love to see. This is also from his list of characters he wanted to include.
Mm.
I would have loved to see Solomon Grundy, Black Spider,
Oh,
and Man-Bat on screen.
oh,
That would have
Man-Bat.
been so
Well,
fucking cool.
Joe, have you seen Gotham?
Yeah,
Not Man-Bat, Grundy in Gotham.
Grundy, yeah.
One of the best parts of that show.
Oh,
Absolutely wonderful. I mean, I just think DC is such a strange one because to me it seems that they can either make like really good TV shows or really good films at a time. Like there's never a point when I'm like completely, satisfied with everything they're making. And I think 2016, you had like, some like, you had the Flash season 2, and some of like, the start of like Supergirl Legends and Gotham had just started. And also you had like what was the beginning of the death of the DCEU because of how badly received Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad were. It's just so, and I really hope that in the future they can kind of move on and they can, bring the films like as they have the TV shows. I mean, like the Batman looks great, so the Suicide Squad looks great. The Flash hopefully will be great.
yeah.
Sorry if I'm being really quiet because I'm just getting in all the the sad information of the Suicide Squad. The film just gave me just.
Well, that's all right. I mean, to be fair, me and Joe have had years to think about this. This is just like a years of build up, like coming out in us, just like the worst.
But at least I'm excited for the Suicide Squad.
We all are.
You see, I am, but every time I watch the 2016 version, which is twice, I get less excited for the new version because I just instinctively think, oh, it looks good in the trailers.
Yeah.
This is going to be terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, again, 2 words, James Gunn. I have faith.
Exactly. I mean, James Gunn, he has. We all know the brilliant movie of the ragtag group of people that come together to stop the big bad guy.
Oh yeah, Suicide Squad. Yeah, we're talking about that right now, actually.
Oh yeah. So not Scooby. But I genuinely am excited for the new one, and I think James Gunn is going to deliver.
Well, hopefully. I mean, it is his thing, like the trailers all and the posters and stuff all have, from the horribly beautiful mind of James Gunn, DC fandom, it was all about him. He was right in the center. Like if you look at like the covers that they did for the Empire magazines, both of them have had James Gunn like as prominent features. And that makes me so happy because especially after Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman and Justice League, films that were all the original intent of the directors were all stripped away. And now we're going back to that for DC. And they have been. Like Birds of Prey, Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman 84. No matter what you think of them, they are all the visions of the directors. Birds of Prey might have been a little bit messy in the edit, but not to the extent the others. Like DC are making their directors like their priority again, which I think is amazing.
You know what's so weird? You've just listed off them movies, and I genuinely think that Aquaman is the best DC film in the cinematic universe they've got now so far.
I love Aquaman, man. I absolutely love it.
If you compare it to the rest, I genuinely think it's the best one. I've not watched 84 yet, but
John, Wonder Woman 84 isn't great.
Oh no,
it's got some great stuff, I think, but I don't think it's great.
We did say we gave it a 4 out of 10. Yeah.
Wait, John.
I think you did. I think I
think are better than Aquaman.
What
films do you think are better than Aquaman?
Joe, you are asking for trouble here.
Well, 2 really. Well, I think BBS or Snyder Cut.
Joe, you were just wanting him to say that, man. I have to agree with John though. I think I would. I mean, I think even Wonder Woman, I think I would put Wonder Woman just a smidge above Aquaman. I'd have to watch them both again. No. In fact, Wonder Woman, the third act. I think Aquaman's probably my third favorite DCEU film after Man of Steel and Batman v Superman.
Fair enough.
I just think Aquaman is it's so good. I don't know, and you know, it's so genuine and so ridiculous, and so it has such good action. Another thing about Suicide Squad, the action, I couldn't tell what was going on half the time. It was so
It's so
choppy.
dark
The only time I knew what was happening was when Deadshot was on
on the
the
car, and
car.
he's just shooting.
Yeah,
A decent scene, I will say.
Yeah,
But it's just like, especially in the end, it's covered in fog. Everyone's silhouetted, you know, that they're baseball bats and swords and boomerangs and guns and like, you know, it just none of it is like properly like in focus or any of like, which is annoying because you're coming off like two DC films, Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and then you know most of the ones afterwards all have great action. I think DC does really well with its action scenes. You know, you've got like the warehouse fight and like the no man's land scene and the fight between Ocean Master and Aquaman. Like you've got like some really cool stuff that's really well shot using, you know, cinematography wonderfully. Some of the coolest moments from all those films, and this film doesn't even have that. Like, you know, like even some of my least favorite superhero films, I can still have fun with in the action department. Even Justice League, I enjoyed the scene where they all fight Superman, even though it's better in a standard cut, but everything is. You know, like this film just like there are like no levels on which I like it, you know?
yeah.
yeah,
It's the Suicide Squad is known for being bright and quirky and just different. And it doesn't translate in this film. And I know it will do in James Gunn's because you can already see how different.
Polka Dot Man.
It's supposed to pop.
Yeah.
It's supposed to catch your eye. And this just seems like another bland, dark, boring film.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they went for a darker tone, but it's the fact that the editing tries to make it so much lighter. It's like in Justice League, how they went back and tried to make it lighter. It's like, if you're not going for a light tone from the start, it's not going to work.
It's
if you look at that
unbelievably
first trailer of Suicide Squad, yeah, it looked dark, but it also looks great. It looks so much more kind of like, you know, like dramatic and introspective, and like it has so much more, you know, personality in so many different ways. And they really messed up. Like I think if they hadn't have released the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer, and if it was a trailer similar to the first Comic-Con look, this film would be a whole lot different. I think that trailer changed everything. And it's a good trailer, but it's not for this film, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it would have been hilarious if they'd have released a trailer for the Suicide Squad with Bohemian Rhapsody in it.
Oh yeah,
I think that would have been the funniest thing, and maybe even the perfect marketing like tactic to be like, "Hey, you wanted to film like this? Then, well, here it is now."
Yeah,
definitely.
So, do we have any final thoughts before we talk about our scores for this film? Our low scores.
Terrible film. Terrible dialogue. Terrible story. Maybe depressed. Right. I give it 1 out of 10.
Ooh, wow. Joe, what are you going for?
Bad, 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 very bad, and very bad. It's very bad. Don't like it. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10.
All right. I agree with you both. Think it's bad. I'm going a little bit higher, and I'm thinking I'm gonna agree with Joe that it's 2 out of 10. However, the first time watching the extended cut, I genuinely was surprised at some of those extra scenes and how much more they added. Which, you know, you add more, you add like a little bit of like spring, a little bit of sugar on some shit. It's still shit, but I think it's a little bit better. I'll give it 3 out of 10.
If I remember correctly, I did message the group chat and I said, I've just had to look up which scenes are the extended ones because I cannot tell the difference.
Yeah.
It just
honestly, like, I think there are like 3 full out like extended scenes.
Yeah.
And then there's like a couple of extra lines from Joker, but not much of like not much really.
It doesn't really make the new movie, not gonna lie.
No, I definitely agree. It's not like, you know, the BVS Ultimate Edition, which, you know, recontextualizes so much and makes it so much better, you know.
Yeah.
But it isn't, you know, and it isn't similarly, it isn't the Ayer cut, you know. I think we can all say with confidence that the Ayer cut has to be better, right? It has to be.
It has to be.
I can't see how it wouldn't be.
The thing is, though, for me, if the Ayer cut is released, I'd say the same thing as when the Snyder cut was released. that if we didn't have the original version, I would still criticize and belittle what we get.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that it's an interesting situation because, you know, like when I first watched the Snyder Cut, I was like, oh, I'm not sure. And then and then obviously I rewatched it and I was thinking about the original, and it's like, well, I mean, especially when considering Justice League, you know, it's so good, you know, like when considering what we had before. And I think you would get that from the Ayer cut, but I agree with you. I don't think it would be as good as I hope the Suicide Squad will be.
Yeah, much like you said, there's only so much you can polish a shit, but it's still a shit.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Can we move on?
Yes, we can indeed move on. Let's move to viewing. I actually got a notification from Zoom saying they've removed the 40-minute limit, so we can just keep on going.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, how
Nice.
lovely of them. They're probably taking my money as they speak. Joe, as our guest, you can go first. Give us something that you've been watching recently.
Oh, well, I've been to the cinema 3 times last week, so I've got
nice.
3 films, if that's okay.
Yes, of course. Please, what's your first one?
Go ahead. Yeah.
My first one is Fast and Furious 9.
Oh, we talked about this. We talked about this a few weeks ago on the
yeah.
podcast.
As I prefer to refer to it, F9, the Fast Saga.
Oh,
Its
yes.
full name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, that made me very happy.
It's a Fast and the Furious movie. You're not going in expecting The Godfather. You're going in expecting Vin Diesel to drive fast cars and talk about family. But I was surprised at how much I laughed during the film. I'm not going to lie. It was funny. It was a lot funnier than I thought it'd be. And I think the Fast and the Furious movies are special. They are special. Because whilst they're not brilliant films,
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yes. Oh, yes. I just
Ejectocito, cuz.
They're all comedic, and you can watch them. You don't even have to watch all of them to understand what's going on, because half the time nothing's going on. And it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. That's all it is, and I'd recommend it.
Brilliant.
I think it's good.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm happy that you had a more positive experience than we did. I don't know if you listened to our podcast, you know.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Not
but
yet.
we,
I didn't want to.
You know, we had an annoying. Oh yeah, of course it would have been spoilers, but we had an annoying experience at the cinema, didn't we, John?
Oh boy. Yeah, we there was people like sobbing sarcastically, just about some scenes, and they were
on their phones and like shouting stuff out.
Oh my god,
it
there's
was
so
like,
many people on their phones.
That's the worst.
I definitely think that ruined. I mean, it's probably better than we thought it was, but I think that experience ruined it for us, which is really annoying.
Yeah. So, Vin Diesel confirms Fast and Furious 10 are going to start in early 2022 too. Sorry, I just had to throw that in.
Cool.
Because
Vin Diesel also says he wants to make a Fast and Furious musical, and I'm pretty sure at one point he said he wanted to cross over with Jurassic World.
Yes, he has said both
and
of those things.
I want him to be in complete creative control of these movies from now on.
And he said that he wanted a prequel about Dominic Toretto, and I think it would be amazing if he did all 3 of them.
Yeah, all 3. He needs all 3.
As one
like
film. It's not just a prequel, but it's a prequel about Dominic Toretto meeting dinosaurs, and they're all singing. I mean, come on. But then the other films don't acknowledge them. So it's just chronologically, it starts off with everything singing and with dinosaurs, and then it just goes into stealing DVD players. I genuinely don't see why we wouldn't do that.
I must say, one thing I actually really did like about Fast and Furious 9 is that they're starting to recognize how absolutely ridiculous it is.
I think they've always. I think since like 5, they've known how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, but now the characters are talking about it.
Oh yeah,
like I can't. What's he called? I don't care to remember. Roman. I was going to say Tyrese because that's his name.
That is his name.
Yeah.
Roman is constantly going on about how they've got no scratches or scars from the ridiculous things that they've been doing, and it just made me laugh because I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. Because at one point, Dominic Toretto jumps over a highway onto a car, and he once crushed a whole parking lot with his own foot.
But Joe, that's the thing about street fights.
The street always wins.
Oh yeah, they're just great films to watch. I mean, it works because the logic in the film and physics doesn't apply, and that's good because that makes sense to the films. But like, if you add like a serious film into like a bunch of like no physics at all, like for example, let's just say The Notebook. The Notebook, yes, the film with Ryan Gosling and I don't know who. They have a great time, and then somehow there's an alien invasion, and then they survive with everything.
John, spoilers! I haven't seen The Notebook. What are you? Come on, man.
No. Imagine just like adding like a very just a hilarious and stupid thing into a serious film. But this is Fast and Furious. We don't care about physics. We don't care about logic. We care about family. Yes.
Yeah, I think one of the problems for me is that I hold them. I went into it hoping it would be as good as 7, which I think really understands. I mean, James Wan is a god, and I think he understands and got the perfect balance between drama and action, and just like the balls to the wall, like ridiculousness, and the heartfelt moments. Another reasons why Aquaman's great, because he bounces those things so well in his films.
Yeah, I think 7's the best.
100%.
Yeah, it is.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
By the way, last thing I'm going to say about the movie: every time a Corona came on screen, someone in the theater that I was sat in, at least someone said, "Hold the virus," and we all laughed. We're all sad like that. But yeah,
good times where we just say, "Are you a Corona man?"
Corona man.
Brilliant. So, what would you give it out of 10?
7.
Cool.
Oh,
yeah. I think we gave it a 6, didn't we, John?
Yeah, we gave it
a 5 or a 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just above average, probably around the good area. Good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's good, but wish they can work on some things. But this is Justin Lin's, return back to doing the Fast and Furious films. So
yeah.
So John, have you watched anything this week? Or just recently? Remember, this will be coming out in 5 weeks, so you could pluck anything from the year.
I can't think of anything. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I'll talk about something that I watched. Again, Joe, similar to you, I've been going to cinema like a madman. As I said weeks ago, I went and saw a few films of cinema, and I already talked about Cruella, Quiet Place, and Fast and Furious. So 2 left from that week, and I saw In the Heights is one of the ones that I saw. I was very excited for this film, having been a really big fan of Moana. As another Lin-Manuel Miranda, he wrote the music for that one as one of his musicals. And I like Hamilton to a degree. I like the songs. I'm not a huge fan of the pacing in that. And I went into In the Heights with, I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for In the Heights.
I've seen the trailer. I'm currently in self-isolation until next Saturday, so I've not seen the movie yet.
Oh, that's
I'm going to go off your recommendation here.
Well, I wasn't going to go into spoilers anyway. But in my opinion, the trailer is like so good. It's so energetic, and it really, it brings this is like a proper summer film, like a feel-good film. And I didn't have that good of a time with it, honestly. I thought it was really, really slow-paced, and it spent so much time with so many different characters that it just felt all over the place and so unfocused. And unfortunately, that brought it down a lot. The music, I can't really comment on the music. I feel like I'd have to listen to it a little bit more, but there were a couple of standout pieces, but not that many. I feel like, it probably would have been better in if I watched it actually on stage, in an on-stage setting. Similarly to Hamilton, I think I'd have a better time if I watched it on stage than watching like the recorded version of it. But yeah, I just wasn't as impressed, and I think I built it up for myself too much, but I think the pacing really let it down. But I think it's a really sweet film with loads of really nice characters. Obviously it's very controversial, with its depiction of Latino characters, and a lot of light-skinned characters, not any dark-skinned ones, which I think is definitely an issue that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
But with that aside, I do think the actors do well with what they're given. It's loads of fun to see people like Jimmy Schmitz, who I know as Bail Organa from Star Wars. It's really fun to see him like singing and stuff. That stuff is loads of fun. And again, some of them, Lynn is great at doing songs, and some of his songs are really good, but they weren't all quite as memorable as they were for, say, Hamilton or Moana, which is unfortunate. I just feel like this film, you could have cut out a good half, and I mean it is like 2.5 hours, no, maybe like 2 hours 20 minutes, and you could cut out a good half an hour of it, and really improve upon it. So it wasn't quite as good as I'd hoped it would be, but I think you'll enjoy it more if you were like a huge fan of Hamilton. I know you guys really liked Hamilton, so I think you probably enjoy it a lot more than I did.
Yeah, I went to see Hamilton in the theater, like in London.
Yeah, John, I remember you came back and said it was better than La La Land.
Wait,
but
I lost respect for you that day.
I changed.
I lost a lot of respect for you that day, John.
I changed, but no, really, it was just the experience, in that, and it was just so different. Yeah, I would recommend you seeing it in the theater, but
I would like.
It's impossible.
Yes, it is at this point, but I would really like to. I watched Hamilton and I was very critical of it, and then everyone under sun was like, "You're wrong. It's great." So I'm not above kind of giving it a second go. So I listened to all the music and I was like, "Oh, this is really good." And I set a date for me to rewatch it because I don't like to rewatch films too kind of close to each other. And I kept on listening to music, and then when I rewatched it, I feel like I just wasn't a fan of the pacing, and it just went on for so long, and it was so slow, and again, it juggling so many characters, and yet there are some absolute bops in there, and the music's outstanding, but I can't get behind that or In the Heights as much as some other people can, which I think is really unfortunate because I'd love to like it as much as other people. I love musicals, but they're just not exactly my kind of thing. But then again, they're not the worst thing that Lin-Manuel Miranda's been in, because Mary Poppins Returns exists. Sorry, I had to mention how much I hate that film.
Why?
Horrible, absolutely disgusting.
But the song "Wait for It" in Hamilton is such a good song.
Oh, there are so many good songs in Hamilton.
I love all the songs. I love them all.
Yeah.
But yeah, what would you give In the Heights?
Let me have a look. Got it written down as my ranking of the year. 6 out of 10. So I mean, in terms of I've seen 28 films this year, and in terms of I would say it was definitely better than Fast and Furious. But I think it wasn't quite as good as Luca and Cruella, which are a couple of other 6 out of 10s I've seen this year. And unfortunately, because I haven't seen that many bad films this year, it's quite low down for me in my ranking of films. So it is unfortunate it has to be looked at so negatively, because it was pretty, it had loads of redeeming qualities, but it just can't kind of compete with some of the other stuff.
Fair enough.
So Joe, what was one of the other films you watched? John, do you have something else you want to talk about?
No.
Okay.
Well, I feel really bad for you only watching bad films this year, because I've watched 2 absolute fantastic films.
No, you misunderstand me. I've only watched 3 bad films. I've watched so many great films, which is why. How dare you, Joe? I'm a consumer of cinema. Sorry.
I feel so bad for myself because I haven't watched any good films recently, and it's just with college and everything. But I
go watch another round, John. Go watch another round. It's showing at Cineworld. It's incredible.
Right, I'll watch that this week.
I know what you should watch.
What?
You should watch Supernova.
Oh my God! Supernova's is this what you're about to talk about?
It is.
Wait, Joe. Is this what you're about to talk about?
Yes.
This is my other film.
Really?
We'll talk about it together, man.
Okay, do
yeah.
you want me to move on to The Father and we can talk about Supernova?
I've also, I think I've already talked about The Father on the pod. So if you want to dip into The
All right.
Father and then we'll do Supernova, whichever way you want to do it.
I'm just in the corner, just like.
In my opinion, The Father is absolutely fantastic.
Agreed.
It is. I'm gonna say straight away, 9 out of 10 film.
100%
Phenomenal.
agree. Yep.
Anthony Hopkins does absolutely amazing. He made me laugh. He made me cry.
Yeah.
I love him so much. He was so quotable in the movie, which is strange. I love how experimental and confusing the whole thing was, especially because it was told from the point of view of someone with dementia. And so the world is constantly changing and being so confusing for them people. And it really is a heartbreaking story, just showing the effects and like how detrimental to a life that disease really is. And I like the style it was done in. I thought it was just phenomenal. Great. And Olivia Colman was brilliant.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Why would it not be a 10 for you?
There was, I don't like the other actors. I felt like it did like not the best job. It really heavily relied on Hopkins and Coleman. Everyone else was just there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I didn't see that as necessarily like something that was bad for me, but I definitely agree with you. 9 out of 10, incredible. I think for me, the thing that brought it down was the fact that it didn't really utilize music as well as it could have. Like it introduced these kind of things of like him listening to like opera and stuff, and it never really went anywhere with that. And I was really like intrigued to see how they would use that because they use the editing really well to kind of show his dementia, but I didn't feel like those other things were shown quite as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Brilliant. Do you want to talk about Supernova?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I was sobbing. I cried buckets watching this film. Jesus Christ. That ending, it hurts. It just
incredible.
It's another film about dementia.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna give it another 9 out of 10.
I agree.
It's really good. Another phenomenal film. You can just tell that Tucci and Firth have such a good chemistry together.
They do, yes.
It's and then when they're arguing about the tape, it destroys you because of how much of a connection they've got, and it perfectly shows the opposite of what the father is showing you. It shows the effects that it has on the family and the mental health effects that it has on people with dementia and how they often might look for other ways to not have dementia. It's just it's phenomenal, really.
Yeah, it's definitely a film about it's definitely a film about love and the the enduring nature of love and kind of like how far you will go to for someone that you love. Definitely towards the third act, the way that the relationship is taken, I think is very clever.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I probably figured it out beforehand, and I think it made it all the more devastating to have that confirmed.
Yeah, it really was. It was so beautiful the way it was told, and it looked amazing. There was just so many like establishing shots of like the countryside and of the van just driving through like hills and stuff. And I thought them
maybe we'll go on a road trip.
Amazing. Yes. Let's go on a road trip.
Oh my God, the Out of Time Film Podcast goes on the road.
Oh, yes.
Let's
make the
do
tapes.
it.
You can make them tapes.
I'm not making tapes, but we'll do it.
But yeah, I think them two movies, The Father and Supernova, both phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, they're my ranking of the year. They're at The Father's at number 5, Supernova's at number 4. Both amazing films, some of the best I've seen all year. Again, why would you say 9 out instead of 10 though?
It kind of slowed down a little bit in like halfway through, like just for like a few minutes there. It kind of slowed down, and lost pace, but then it quickly built up, and I felt like it lost momentum, and it could have just not done that by cutting a couple of things out. But other than that, it's really good.
Interesting. I didn't necessarily feel that. My problem with it came with the opening of the film. I feel like it struggled to deliver exposition.
Yeah,
It
that's fair.
it struggled, you know, when they're in the diner specifically, and he's asking for an autograph. I felt like
Yeah,
there were
that
clunky,
felt a little bit weird.
yeah, clunky ways of establishing who the characters are, and the opening shot I despised. Um, this isn't a spoiler, but the opening shot is the two of them together in
Oh,
bed, naked, and it's just
yeah.
like they were like, so they're gay, by the way, and it's like we could have figured that out in so many different ways.
Yeah,
You know, you didn't have to
definitely.
show us that so explicitly. That felt like so on the nose, and so like if you want to leave the film, you can now. You know, these guys are gay. It's like honestly, you know, I like you can understand that in so many different ways, you know, like there's so many times in the film where they just sleep in the same bed, you know, like you don't need that shot of them specifically naked, you know, I just felt like that was so
Felt a bit forced.
frustratingly, yeah, forced and on the nose.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on, but I'm just
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
We've been we've been watching some good cinema, John. So get
meanwhile,
yourself to the
I'm
watch
just
cinema.
over
John.
here. I'm just over here, just contemplating about Suicide Squad. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, again, I don't think me and Joe can probably understand because we've watched Suicide Squad, you know, like I watched it like 5 years ago. You watched it in like January or something, Joe.
Yeah.
So
For
we've
the
had
first
time to
time
kind
in
of
full.
like we've had time to, you know, like consider it and accept it. And John's still just in that state of just complete and utter shell shocked.
So what?
Yeah, precisely.
The only reason that I did watch it earlier in the year is because some absolutely evil bastard bought it for on
Oh yeah,
DVD.
who's that? No, Joe, you're so wrong. I didn't buy it for you. I gave you my coffee.
Well, that's even worse. You're like, here, have this. Have this. I don't want it anymore. Please,
Tom gave you the Blu-ray version.
Yeah,
Tom's made a smart decision. Tom doesn't own it anymore. Tom doesn't own
I
Suicide Squad.
I do. I because I saw that Suicide Squad extended cut was £3 on Amazon, and I was getting something else. So to get the shipping up to the price needed, I bought that, which is the one that I lent to John, and then I thought, well, like because we're doing Secret Santa, I was like, and I already had you a present, like a proper one. I was like, okay, I'll give him this just to like, you know, make him very upset. That may sound horrible.
I knew. I was saying, if Tom's got me, he's getting me Suicide Squad. I'm not gonna cry. And he got me Suicide Squad, and I cried.
It's your own fault. I was gonna get you Batman v Superman as well because I know that you're also doing that film, but I didn't go that far because I also have that one on DVD and don't use it because I bought the extended Blu-ray. But no, I wouldn't have done both of them to you.
My opinion, I've grown fonder and fonder of Batman versus Superman over the years.
Good.
But I will never, ever, ever like Suicide Squad.
No. Well, that's something that I think is really like I love those moments when people kind of see a different side to a film. I know I've had them. I know many people have. It's like, you know, you get like as the more you find out about a film, the more you watch it. Like Batman v Superman is one of the ones that I think the more you watch it, the more clarity you get, the more you enjoy it. Especially if you're watching the extended cut. It's like when Rise of Skywalker came out, a load of people looked more fondly back on The Last Jedi because the Rise of Skywalker was so much more worse that they were like, oh, actually, Last Jedi wasn't that bad.
I thought you were going to scare me there. Like when Rise of Skywalker came out and I watched it 50 times and it was a fucking magnum opus.
I watched it. No, I did watch Rise of Skywalker 4 times at the cinema and I liked it every time. And then I came back to it in a year. I watched it and I was like, oh, Tom, you fool.
Oh.
You fool.
Oh, yeah, Rise of Skywalker. That was a...
So, but we're going to have to cover that on the podcast one day. But yeah, what John, I've spoken to you about this. I recommend this very heavily. But Joe, one thing that is at the cinema that you have to see is Another Round. Far and away.
Is that in the cinemas now?
It is in the cinemas now.
I cannot wait.
It's far and away the best film I've seen.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They still...
if it touched you as much as it touched me, then I'm sorry for what you're about to experience. But it's incredible, man.
Are they still doing the Western remake of it with Was it DiCaprio who was supposed to be in the lead role?
Oh yeah, I
They're
remember
still doing
seeing
that
I remember
remake.
seeing a report for that. I hope not, but
I
knowing
also hope
them,
not.
they're doing Parasite, you know. So
What?
yeah, they're doing a Parasite TV show. But it's a little bit different because Bong Joon-ho is like involved in that one, and it's not like a remake, it's like a spin-off, like set in the same universe, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like you know, like I feel like that's a specific story. Like I don't know why they'd want to continue it, but then again, people are afraid of subtitles. So
I'm not.
imagine having to read. Oh.
John be like, I'm not afraid of subtitles. Well, that's lucky.
Yeah, a lot of people are. I remember Trump making like a video back when he was president about like Parasite getting Best Picture and being like, "This is ridiculous," and it's like, like, did you even watch Parasite? It's like, it's good.
It's
really
one
good.
of my favorites of all time.
Oh,
He's my
it.
favorite director.
I haven't
That's
seen any of the
annoying.
stuff, but I definitely intend to.
That's annoying when people argue about subtitles in films. In a foreign film, even though you're watching it.
Well, I mean, we all took the same film course. I mean, is anyone about to deny that, City of God, Pan's Labyrinth, and Life is Beautiful are all incredible films? They're all amazing.
Yeah,
they are all amazing.
I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth.
Me neither. But I know that Joe did it, so I was like, I got to include that in there.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I really want to.
Oh, is it Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro. What is it? He's in a new film this year. It's called like Nightmare Alley or something.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
I don't know if you guys have seen his Hellboy films, but
I love his Hellboy films.
Well, the second one, I'm not a huge fan of the first one, but I mean they're both better than the one in 2019.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
Again with David Harbour.
Yeah, well, I mean, literally, Black Widow. As we're recording this, Black Widow comes out on Wednesday. Another David Harbour film joint.
Oh yeah.
Should we see Black Widow this week?
Well, we're going to be recording our episode on it next week, so you probably should see it this week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing it on Wednesday.
All right.
Brilliant. So let's roll it out, shall we?
Of course.
Yes. Good idea.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to our slow descent into madness as we talked about Suicide Squad. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. As this comes out next week, we're doing the Suicide Squad, but we have done Black Widow and stuff. But as we're recording this, we haven't done that yet, so it's all very confusing. Joe, thanks so much for coming back. It's been a blast.
Anytime. I've loved it.
Anytime
on the podcast.
We will have to discuss when you can come back next.
Of course.
What's coming out? Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Honestly. Yeah, we love having you on here. Please tell everyone where you can find you.
My Instagram, where I review films, is HegDogFilms. I'm on Twitter, but that is just shit posting. I don't really use that for anything.
It'll be in the
it's in the description
anyway. Yeah, so it'll be in the So yeah, you're fine with that. And
as this episode goes up, there'll be a Suicide Squad review. So.
Oh, good. So you got quite a while to read to make that one.
Gives me enough time to type it.
Yeah, we know how slow you are at typing, Joe. So if you guys want to get in touch with us, ask us any questions or anything, you can email us at ousetimefilmpod@gmail.com or follow us or get in touch with us at ousetimefilmpod at Twitter or Instagram, or follow me on Twitter at Tom Boardman, but not John because he stopped using Twitter because he's more powerful than either me or Joe could ever imagine.
Yes,
I couldn't give up Twitter, man. Like I enjoy it so much. I don't really follow many people who are like get involved in like many. I mean, I guess the person who I follow who gets involved in the most topical stuff is you, Joe. But like most of the stuff for me is just people talking about films, and just like the biggest stuff I get is people arguing about Spider-Man on Twitter. It's great.
My Twitter is just insane ramblings of a madman.
It really is. Oh boy. So I guess that's it. So yeah, the Suicide Squad next week. And again, thanks for coming along, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And John, do you want to do the honors? Joe, do you remember what we did as the outro?
Thank you. No. Thank you for listening. Be safe. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. And if you go to the cinema, please do wear a mask because we want cinemas to be open.
We want cinemas to stay open.
And clean up after yourself.
What, when you pee yourself in the
No,
seats?
like when you're in the, you know, when you're in the cinema and like
Yeah.
people just leave the popcorn or
Oh
empty drinks,
man.
and
Oh,
there's
so
a bin
annoying.
right outside the door, and it's just take your stuff and put it
Yeah.
in the
right,
bin.
yeah. Take your stuff and put it in the bin. Yeah, you
Exactly,
paid for
thank you.
that, and then
As
there's
we-
people cleaning in the cinemas. So please put it in the bin.
As we always say at the Outside Film Podcast, bin it. That's our
Bin it.
That's the catchphrase.
that's the catchphrase. So yeah, Joe, if you remember from last time, we say take what you're given, and then well, John says take what you're given, and then we say give nothing back. So remember, this is a very important privilege for you to be part of this. So don't fuck it up. Thank you.
Take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Give nothing back.
Let's try it again.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Take what you're given.
Give nothing
Give
back.
nothing back.
I don't know if it's ever going to be in time. I don't know until I see like the edit. I won't know if it's ever in time. We'll just assume that it's in time, right?
Oh,
Hopefully
okay.
it was
Take
in
what you're
time.
given. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.